Everyone, welcome back to the channel. So like I mentioned in the last video, YHM sent a lot of suppressors for review, so it only makes sense that we go from the Sidewinder M2 9mm to the Sidewinder M2 45 ACP version. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take an in-depth look at the Sidewinder M2 45, and of course we're going to hit the range and see what it sounds like. Let's get to it. All right, opening up the box, you have your usual decal, manual, suppressor, and takedown tool. Now, if you guys already watched the 9mm review, this is pretty much going to be straightforward, just like the 9mm review was. All right, the specs are going to be closely the same, save for the length, of course, and the weight. But as far as the manual of arms, of course, it's going to be the same. So, let's kick things off. Comes in at an overall length of 9.3 inches, a diameter of 1.375 inches, and a weight of 10.55 ounces. Now, just like its 9mm counterpart, the material selection is the same. The tube itself is 6061 T6 aluminum. The monocore, we'll show you in a minute, is 7075 T6 aluminum with a hard coat Type 3 anodizing on it. And then the rear housing here, the nut and the piston itself, and a press fit blast baffle are all 17.4 heat treated stainless steel. As far as suppression, YHM tested it on a Glock 21 with 230 grain ball ammo, and it came out to 133 decibels. MSRP is $5.99, and I know you can find the 9mm version on Capital Armory. I'm sure you can find this one as well. Of course, my patrons save 10% there as well if you're a gold member. Now, let's cover the special features, and then of course, we'll hit that range. I'm trying to get through the studio portion of the 45 version a little faster, because most likely you guys have already seen the 9mm one, and this way we can do more shooting. So, special features, let's get to it. First things first, comes with a takedown tool. We're gonna go ahead and interlock it with the front cap here. As soon as I can see what I'm doing here, I'm getting blinded by studio lights, huh? There you go. And you will hear that O-ring engagement there on the core. We can go ahead and remove the core. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 chambers, and then of course you have that stainless steel press fit blast baffle. First thing, the gases and powder hit through the suppressor. And then, of course, you have a toolless removal. Again, let me grab the takedown tool here. I know it's hidden in the box here. Or should I say the spanner wrench. You're going to want to tighten this Nielsen device pretty tight. I would add some blue Loctite. That way when you're in the field, you don't need to mess with the spanner wrench. And you can just make your fingers into a claw shape like so, and you can remove the retaining nut on the back and easily swap your pistons. Okay, again, just like the 9mm version, backwards compatible with silencer code, dead air, and rugged pistons, and I'm sure there's some other ones out there as well. So it ships with a 0.578 by 28 thread pitch piston that will be used on typically your 1911 platforms, anything that's American made, stuff like that. On the HK stuff, we're gonna go through and we're gonna rummage through my parts box and see if I can find some extra pistons that are 16x1 left hand, and we'll be able to shoot it on the HK or the 220 SIG. Actually, the 220 SIG might be the correct thread pitch already. We'll check. So, 2 main thread pitches there, okay, for your metric and standard. And then all you got to do at the range is literally just remove it from the rear, put the spring on the new piston, put this back on, and you're good to go. You're also going to want to lube this with some sort of grease. There is an O-ring here, okay, to prevent that gas escaping and hitting you in the face when shooting. And there's a look there of the Nielsen cage, you know, the blast chamber per se. So toolless swapping of pistons, okay, and then once you put the appropriate piston on there for your host gun, you can assemble the rest of the suppressor. So here you go, aluminum. I would just clean this with a manual brush instead of ultrasonic cleaner. So nice looking monocore. I'll give you some tight shots there, just like I did in the last video. Give you guys an idea of what that looks like up close. Pretty cool. Once you got it clean, just drop the monocore back in. And of course, just use your included core removal takedown tool there to tighten that back on nice. It should not loosen at all. I don't think you need to go crazy with it. It shouldn't loosen because of that O-ring engagement. And there you have it. And last but not least, again, like I mentioned in the other video, it is clockable. Let's go ahead and see if this is, this is the correct thread pitch. Cool. All right, weapon is clear. So it is clockable to 12 positions. So if you do have some point of impact shift, if your gun's a shooting point of aim without the suppressor, okay, right where the sights are aiming, and you put the suppressor on and it moves, you can compress the spring in here and rotate the housing on the 12 notches on the teeth on the piston like a clock, rotating the suppressor and finely tuning the gases behind the bullet, therefore returning the shift back to point of aim. Okay, pretty self-explanatory there. And again, using the writing on the tube, you can use it as an orientation marker to hit all 12 clocking points, ensuring you're good to go at the range. And without further ado, let's grab some hosts, grab some ammo, and go see what the new M2 sounds like. Before we get shooting, a quick word from our sponsor, Capital Armory. They're the nation's largest silencer dealer and have expanded their silencer shipping ability to multiple states, with even more on the way. They can still ship directly to Texas residents, but they can now deliver silencers directly to your door for those in many other states. The process is simple and keeps everything in-house. So there are no additional dealers, transfer fees, or headaches. They manage the entire process from start to finish to make your life easier. The process is very simple. Once you purchase a silencer online through their website, you'll be contacted to begin your online customer profile to provide them with fingerprints and other necessary information to complete your e-file Form 4. After the ATF approves your form, Capital Armory will initiate electronic transfer paperwork with you, and your silencer will be mailed directly to your front door. And the best part is, your customer profile only needs to be done once, so you'll be ready to go for all future orders. Head to capitalarmory.com today to learn more. Deal. All right, guys. Well, I apologize for the airplanes. Apparently every new pilot in Zephyr Hills today is doing touch and goes. They have been just coming and going all day. So hopefully it didn't distract the video too much. All right, let's unpack this. I brought the Beretta. This is the 92X. Okay, brought that out there, 9mm. We shot 165 grain ammo out of that. And then we brought the SIG 220 Combat 45 ACP, and then a Remington R1 threaded with some mods to it, black nitride barrel, some 8-up grips. And then, yeah, we shot 230 grain ball through both of those. So, starting with the Beretta. Being able to compare this with the 9mm version of the M2 I just shot last week, less blowback, okay? In the Beretta, I wasn't getting any granules in the face, and of course that's due to the larger bore aperture not trapping as much gas like a cork on a champagne bottle, right? So less gases coming back through the barrel and hitting the shooter in the face. So A+ there. Was a little louder, of course, than its 9mm counterpart on 9mm, but if you're on a budget, you can get the 45 Sidewinder M2, and then of course you can shoot 9mm through it. So you can use the 4 pistons, you know, of course. And of course you can use fixed adapters as well to shoot it on a carbine, like a 9mm carbine. All right, so that's 9mm. Still had a good tone, but it was louder than its 9mm counterpart. Going to the 220. Shot to point of aim, so did the Beretta. I didn't have to reclock the suppressor, just like in the last video with the 9mm Sidewinder M2. I thought that was pretty interesting. When I was shooting at the steel, it was shooting square the middle where I was aiming. I thought that was pretty funny. Again, with the writing on the right side of the gun, so clocked to that orientation. Sounded good. I don't recall getting any. I think I got a little bit of blowback with the SIG, which I thought was interesting. Okay, not my favorite one out here today, which leads us to our last but not least, 1911. Now, those of you that are not new to shooting suppressed pistols know that the 1911 and the 2011 platforms sound really good suppressed because it has a little bit longer lock time than other platforms out there. And that little bit longer lock time allows more gases to go this way instead of this way. And it sounded the best today. Obviously the 9mm is going to be quieter, you know, to the ear, but as far as just overall shooting experience with a 45, king ding-a-ling right here. All right, 1911. Those of you that like them. If you don't, you don't, but there's no denying the fact that the suppressed 1911 2011 are going to be kings when it comes to suppression hosts. Shot very well today. Nice mechanical lobby feel to it with the booster. Just, it was fun. It was fun shooting this, and that's really what this is all about. So definitely A+ with the 1911 there. Sounded the best. It was noticeable to me. I don't know if it's going to be noticeable to you at home, but 45 hosts, it sounded the best. Didn't really care for the 220, which is a shame because it's a great gun. It's just, and it was, doesn't matter what mag I used, it was not locking back. I had to manually lock it back to empty. So, but this gun's always been like that for some damn reason. I don't know what it is. But I didn't have any other issues today. So that is what it is. Don't take my word for it. Research other channels, magazines, internet forums, Facebook groups, whatever you want. This is just one stop, I'm sure, on your research train. So get to it. YHM will be at Suppress Fest 2023 this November, so you can hear this suppressor in person if you decide to come out. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Try to get through this one a little faster. I know all you guys are busy, as am I, so I wanted to kind of shorten it a little bit, get right to the point. Click that subscribe button if you want to see more. I'll see you guys next week. I think I have 3 more suppressors from YHM, and then I have so much work coming, it's not even funny. So I'm going to be busy until Suppress Fest for sure. See you next time.